Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to Video Games to the Max, episode 223. And I'm your host, Sean Garmer. And of course, here with me is Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And only Marc Morrison today.
Well, this is part 2 of this podcast, or
the
redone model. The redo.
Retry. So we did actually try to do we did do most of a podcast on what would have been Saturday morning, but my power went out in the middle of recording, and I was using my desktop, which I had been doing since I was recording, and it's easier for me to do because I already have it on an actual, thing set. The laptop doesn't have its own little table, so all of a sudden the power went out, and of course that means your recording goes out because Spreaker only makes a save if you stop the recording.
Yeah.
I think actually if you do a live recording, it'll save it for you. But if you do a recorded recording, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, or if you just we could just save and quit every 10 minutes and then edit it all together. I'm sure that'd be great.
Yeah, that wouldn't. I mean, if it was really a problem, I might start doing the whole every 30 minutes stop and do it, but every 10 minutes, I think I'd drive myself insane.
Yeah.
So, we did have Jens on that episode. So, sadly, we won't have Jens on this episode. And we're also doing this a little bit later than we were last time. But, so, and we wanted to kind of keep the schedule we've been keeping, so I said, well, whatever, let's just wait till Monday night when I have my day off the next day. So, it'll probably be a shorter
now
show.
I can go. Well, I was going to say now I can go 5 hours because you don't have work tomorrow.
No. It'll be a shorter show. The one good thing is I've completely beaten Final Fantasy VII Remake now. I was at chapter 17 when we had done the show on Friday. So I guess I can talk about I won't spoil the ending or anything, but I can talk about my experience now having finished the entire game. And then, Marc's waiting on. Marc is explaining things.
I'm in chapter 9. I just did. I beat the Hell House thing in the arena.
How was that?
It was fine. It was really. I thought the fight went really long and it was kind of tedious.
Oh yes, it's extremely tedious. It's probably the most tedious and most difficult.
I didn't find it difficult because I at least had 3 of the 4. I didn't have fire equipped, unfortunately, but I had 3 of the 4 elements you need.
Mm-hmm.
But the annoying part was when he could shield himself or turn God mode house or whatever, and your physical damage goes to nothing. And I'm great, and trying to stagger this thing, and it's taking me 10 minutes to do it.
Well, and what I hated too was cause Blizzard, one of the Blizzard spells don't connect automatically,
it has to form.
Yeah. So he'll be on fire and then he'll move and it's oh wow, that spell didn't do anything.
Yep.
Great. And so that would make it longer, and then I couldn't figure out. It took me a while to figure out that if he does thunder, you can do wind.
Yeah.
Or whatever, which that probably made my fight longer. But also it felt like he just came after me constantly. He do that thing where he flies around.
Yeah,
and he chases you.
Yeah, the Hell Strike or Hell Dive. What it's called, yeah.
I think I did lose Aerith at least once, and he almost killed Cloud, but in the last second I was able to hit Cure on him before he swiped at him or whatever. I was oh thank God. So
I mean, I didn't have that much difficulty. I left some health or I had to heal up and stuff. I find that game to be just generally kind of easy. Or, like, I've died once in that entire game.
It definitely gets it gets increasingly much more difficult. I want to say once you get to like chapter 11 or 12, it's like there is a little bit of a spike there.
Okay.
But I think in general, I think the people that are having like either, if you're not great with action games, that's one. But I think the people that are having the biggest issue with it is you're just not one of those that likes to use like, you're trying out a lot of different materia, so you don't have like a balanced team.
Yeah.
And that's where you get caught off guard. Cause I think like with the assess materia, it's super easy. All you do is assess and then, oh, okay. Well, I have all 4 of the spells equipped between my 2 or 3 characters. So I know which one to use and then bam, go with that. But I think also like I think there's people that also are you switching around a lot? Or are you sticking only with Cloud?
Yeah.
Or?
No, I switch around because, Aerith is fairly useful, so.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I figured out pretty quickly that, like, Barrett and Aerith are very, very, especially Barrett.
I don't have Barrett right now.
Oh, yeah, you don't have him right now, but, like, in the later game when he comes back, he is absolutely will save your ass. So I made him my, like, cure person and all that stuff. And, he's really quick to, cause he can just shoot the bullets and his ATB meter, like, goes real quick. And eventually you'll get a second prey materia and I gave him prey and, everything.
That fits his character.
Yeah, definitely. Total opposite of his character. But yeah, it's, I will say, like, I think, honestly, I feel like it's different. It's weird because I do like Kingdom Hearts, so it's gonna be fun to see how you feel about the ending when you get to it. But I also feel like it's a little bit overblown. I think people wanted this to replace Final Fantasy VII, and it feels like Square Enix is just kind of like Final Fantasy VII exists. We're not trying to kill it. We're just trying to make our own thing.
Well, I mean, they changed stuff around for, like, wasn't it like Final Fantasy IV?
Yeah, Final Fantasy IV.
Or they added crap to the DS or the 3DS version. It's like those old games still exist and should still be played. Like, if you don't like it, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, especially now when like 7's available on everything. I mean,
yeah, you can play 7 on your iPhone
look great.
if you want. Yeah.
But,
I don't think it. I honestly don't think it ever looked good, really.
No, it never looked good, but I mean, it was still like, I enjoyed playing it. I never had
yeah. I would say it was impressive from a artistic standpoint, but not a technical one.
Yeah, sorry, we probably had a much more balanced conversation about this with the 3 of us on the show.
That's fine.
No one will get to hear, but
I know Jens is like in chapter 14. That's when I last talked to him.
Okay, so he's in the where the side quests get longer. So
yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, honestly, because the side quests, at least so far, have been like brain dead easy. It's like get a side quest, go here, beat some monster, and then get teleported back. And I'm like, okay, like is this a Final Fantasy 15 side quest? Like,
I wouldn't say it gets harder; it just gets longer. Like it's just they add more. Well, I guess nodes to the.
I saw some reviewer or some page today talking about how like Final Fantasy VII Remake shares a lot with like Yakuza.
It does, yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, that's what it kind of feels like. There's just somebody asking. I mean, what other game asks you to go find cats or go find, that kind of thing? I mean, so it's like, I think that's where it's sort of like the randomness of finding them. But the thing is, with those Chapter 14 quests, is they're kind of important because you'll get those books that you need to level up the...
Yeah, the SP books, which are... Yeah. I already bought 2 of those from the Moogle kid, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that system. I think that system's like one of the things that they added to this remake that I think just
You always like the sphere grid crap, so of course you would.
Well, no, but it really does. It really does make you feel like it's more worth it to like really level up, and then that they make all those weapons. Like I actually I used all the different weapons when they would come out, and then I'd get
Yeah.
their
Well,
ability,
yeah, the weapon proficiency is
and then
useful.
I would keep using that weapon. But then towards the end, I just went back to the Buster Sword because it was still your best weapon,
Yeah.
and it's cool that even though that's your first weapon, they still made it useful even at the end. So, that's nice.
I just wish, I personally wish that, like, the weapons, I hope they get more. But, like, I find the materia slots to be very, very lacking.
Oh yeah, definitely. You always feel like you don't have enough slots for all the material you wanna
Well,
use.
it's like, oh, I got a steel materia. You can use the equipped, steel skill. And I'm like, I could, but I have all these materia slots already full, so I really can't.
Yeah, I actually found that there wasn't like that many like great things to steal.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but you get the idea. But there's a ton of material you can get, but
Oh
you
yeah.
don't really have like the slots for it, at least initially, or at least for a while.
Well, and
Like the
even
second,
then, when you do, there's the ones that you have to have. So it's like you can't remove them. So to try to build those up, because some of them take a hell of a long time to build up.
yeah,
So, I still don't think I was still on the fourth node of the first prey materia when I beat the game because it's so much you have to actually,
grind out.
uh, grind it out.
Yeah,
So I got all the gauze of the four main ones or whatever.
right.
I know Leviathan's there, but I don't think you can get a water materia anywhere. So, um,
That's just ice or blizzard.
no, well, it wasn't in 7. Water was a separate materia. I
Maybe.
thought so. But then, yeah, like I did bio for a while, but I felt like
No, there's only
bio.
the underwater materia.
Oh, is it underwater? Okay, that's
That
what it is.
that was the materia to stop the clock against Emerald.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's right. Like,
Yeah,
and that's what's funny is like I went back to the old like JRPG thing you would do back in the day of cast haste on everyone.
yeah,
I did that. I did that shit, and like that helped me win battles. That's the Oh god, what materia is that? I don't know if you have the time materia, but
yeah.
they
I don't
don't
have that
have
yet.
like Haysta and Haysaga on that one. It's just haste,
Yeah,
stop and slow.
yeah, like slow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I was just like, well, this is good because I got time materials for everybody, and they could all cast it, and I can just keep using it. So it was
right.
nice. But I don't know who's your like. I would say too. Like I mentioned that they made Barrett a heck of a lot more useful in this game than I felt like he was in the original 7, at least in this area.
Yeah,
And then because I would never like as soon as you could switch him out, I'd switch him out with somebody. Like I wouldn't use him that much, and I felt man like when he was gone from my party, I was like, oh man, I miss him now. So
right.
uh, I enjoyed him, and what you do in this, it's actually cool. Like the things you decide to do in the game determine what your final party is at the end of the game. So that's neat as well, I guess, for people that want to know your choices do sort of matter, aside from the one area there with Don Corneo and Tifa and Aerith. So,
Yep,
yeah.
that's where I'm at.
And, you haven't got to that part, right? Where,
No, like I said, I just beat the arena, so I have to do the second part of that area and get dressed to look all get a Cloud to look all pretty.
oh yes. Oh, wait till you get to that was one of my favorite, parts as well, because you get, they certainly added something really cool there that you do now in the honeybee. That's
Yeah,
definitely not in the original game. So, um,
I like the one thing I like a lot, and because I liked them a lot in the Crisis Core, the PSP game, is I like the Turks in this game quite a bit. Like, I like Reno with Rude, and I haven't seen him, but I know Seng's in it also.
He is, yeah, you'll see him.
Like, I wish, I made the comment last time, but I wish Rude was voiced by, Vin Diesel.
Would have been perfect. He almost looks like him.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and I like that, like, he's not, like, so many bad guys in these stupid RPGs, like these, like, mustache twirling villains, or, like, egomaniacal idiots, like Sephiroth. I like that Rude is just, like, doing a job, and he gets called off. He's like, well, alright, I'm gonna go now. Like, later.
Yeah, and then later he gets, like, his own agency. You'll see it, when you get to it, but it's, like, nice that they're not just, like, mindless, like, oh, we don't think for ourselves, and whatever, so, I do like that there's thought into that too, and just I even enjoy Johnny. He's really crazy and eccentric, but
he reminds me of the Johnny from Metal Gear Solid.
That's the guy that kind of reminds me of, like, when I think of, like, Yakuza. He's the sort of Yakuza character. Just, here's this random dude that has you do stupid stuff. Oh, and then he has a crush on Tifa. I mean, who doesn't? But still, like,
So I know he's not in the game, but I hope when they introduce Kate Sith in the new one, like part 2 or whatever, I just want it to be some weird looking creature like playing dice in the back alley.
That'd be nice. There is did you see him in the?
No, I haven't seen him yet. I know the one Shinra guy.
You haven't seen him. Yeah, you haven't seen him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He pops up, I guess.
Well, I won't spoil the
reveal.
The reveal. But so yeah, I mean, like, I love all the characters. I think they made all of them just have so much more personality. Like Aerith they are really going to, by the time you get to that scene, if it happens like that or not, right? Because see what they're setting up where, things could be different. She really has a heck of a personality now, and like Tifa as well. So yeah, I'm totally sold on this. I just, like you, Mark, I know you joke around about it, but I really hope we're not waiting 5 years for part 2. So,
I mean,
but we could be.
That's the core problem of this game, or part 2, is like I've always said, like, Final Fantasy VII has a ton of different areas. I mean, you don't need to go to all of them necessarily, but I mean, like, I don't think it's going to be an open world game. I don't think so either. Game.
I think we're going to see the chapter system again, and they're just you're going to have certain towns that you...
Like Junon, you'll be able to go around there, obviously.
Yeah. Or like Nibble.
Yeah.
Well, like, I think there might be a little bit more openness as to what you do, right? Like, I don't know if there's going to be this... Because you can go to the Colosseums and fight people and stuff like that, and whatever, but I feel like it won't be the same game if I can't go to Fort Condor and do stuff there.
Or like Cosmo Canyon,
or the Gold Saucer.
Well, I think the Gold Saucer will definitely be like an area you can always probably go to, or you can go on a magical date with Barrett.
Yeah. That'll be one of the things you have to, like, beat the game and go back and do later, is how to unlock all 3 of the different dates or whatnot.
Right.
And because they could really ramp that up now, with the way things are, the Cloud and Barrett thing, which, they would have not done so much of back then.
Well, I mean, I've seen articles about, like, why everyone is quote-unquote so thirsty in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
It's like, because the people playing it are 20 years older, and they've been ogling these characters for the past 20 years.
Well,
what do you expect?
Jessie is really... But she's also, like, joking around, though, too. So, and that's like part of her act, I think. Not so much like she's just, is she really thirsty, or is she, like, trying to get Cloud to do something? Yeah.
I also hate Jessie's last name, Raspberry. I was like, come on. I mean, I hate the names of the characters in these games. Like, they're just so incredibly harsh. Like, I mean, the exception is, like, Sid, I think, but I don't know his last name, at least in this one.
Highwind.
But, like, oh god, yeah.
Highwind?
Maybe.
Well, that's the name of the ship, but yeah.
I just hate the arch names of these characters. It's like, why can't a character just be named Bob Jones?
It's too common, you know. You gotta have weird names so you remember them. Right? You're not gonna remember this dude named Bob.
Well, the other funny thing is, I love how everyone in the remake, like, you're running around as Cloud with a 7-foot-long sword strapped to your back, and no one bats an eye.
Well, I mean, they go and beat monsters. I mean, like the slums has a monster count. I mean, like.
Yeah, well, the other thing I'll mention is, I mentioned this last time also, but like, the doors are ugly as sin in that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably, I wonder how much of that is why they don't want you to be opening and closing them.
But
right?
like when...
Cloud can't close the door. He opens it, then he can't close it.
Well, I mean, I don't mind that, but I was like, when Tifa showed me the apartment in the slums, like, you know, she's like, here's your room, and I was like, why is there a PS2 era door, you know, where there's a little room? Like, what's going on here?
Because they're probably not thinking you're going to sit there and stare at that door, right?
Well, I mean, I was thinking either some like texture problem, like the old Skyrim issue, or like something like that.
Yeah, definitely you can tell, like, when they zoom in sometimes on their faces, like, you can see the texture kind of doesn't load in and they don't look great, or they have them stand there after they just talked, and it's like, well, I'm definitely not going to want to take a picture of that, you know, but there are definitely very beautiful parts of this game, and you definitely feel like they did this justice. Like, it's my game of the year so far. Obviously now with what we're going to talk about, there's going to be some contenders to that as things roll on. But yeah, going to be very, very interesting how this year shakes out, especially with, I really do think I'm going to try it out on hard mode, see how I fare with that. With the no items and the bosses get harder and everything.
Right.
But yeah, so after, I think it took me about, well, I don't know, because I know there was twice where I had the system on. I want to say I at least spent 50 hours in that. Doing all the side quests and everything else and exploring some and all that.
Right. I mean, I spent about 60 or 65 in Persona 5 Royal, so.
Yeah, but there's a lot of extra stuff you can do with it.
I mean, kind of. I skipped a lot of it, trust me. Right, I was trying to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to, right, to expand some of the stories, but you're trying to do as minimum as you can, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I was just skipping dialogue, like, left and right, you know.
Yeah, because you'd already read it 5 times. Right?
Yeah, I was paying attention to the new characters, that's about it. It's like, I don't know, hear Ryuji talk about his track troubles anymore. I'm like, I'm good.
Well, anything else you've been playing?
I mentioned it last time. Well, you know, kind of last time, but I got a hold of an Xbox development kit, and I put StarCraft Ghost onto it, and that's fun.
So, what's it play like?
It plays like a kind of not great third-person shooter or action game. Like, you play as Nova. She can like cloak. She has like predator vision, I guess, and she can like move super speed later on in the game. There's like 6 missions you can play as. The controls are really weird because you have to like manually equip your gun. Like you enter like a gun stance and you can get out of it. So that's awkward. Cause like, you know, think about like a Gears of War. You can hold R2 to shoot or like R right trigger to shoot constantly. You may not aim well, but you can do it. And this one you have to like equip your gun and then you can shoot. I think this is not great. But I'm surprised at how far that game was along before it got crushed out. Like, it has voice acting and cinematics. Like, that's pretty late for a game to like be canceled. Like, it wasn't like finished, obviously, but I mean, there's at least 8 missions or 6 missions you can play as, so that's not too bad, you know, when you really think about it. But
yeah, it's still surprising that they just all of a sudden canned it. I guess there was something about it they weren't happy with.
The funniest part really is I think they said they canceled it at the time because of like quality concerns. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, we don't want to put our name on bad games. And it's like, well, you guys abandoned that, didn't you? Like, I mean, look at your games nowadays. Like, holy hell. Like, what the hell happened? Oh, wait. They got taken over by Activision. All right, I get it now. Like, imagine if the Blizzard of then looking at the games of Blizzard now, like that Diablo Immortals game. It's like, what? Like, or like the recent, the current WoW expansion. It's like, what? Like, happen to making good games. Like, but yeah, and I'm very happy to have an Xbox dev kit again. I missed it. I have the more powerful one now, so that makes me even happier.
Did you get it to play like other games or?
I had an old copy of From Russia with Love for my old one, my old dev kit. It's really interesting because it has like a bunch of like debugging options. Like the game doesn't work actually technically, but like you can load into some maps and just kind of like screw around. It's fun. And it has this really weird game called Invasion Home, like Incent, or it's something weird like that, where like it's this looks like some like TF2 or Counter-Strike looking game that doesn't work at all, but I can't find anything about it. It has like a label or like a game label called like Uber Entertainment, and I can't find anything about them. So I don't know what the hell it is. It doesn't work. It kind of annoys me, but I'm really curious to find out about it.
I mean,
and I did make it so it can run original games or like real games because like the dev kits don't normally do that, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, it's called Invasion Home Intent or Hostile Intent. And I'm like, all right, but it doesn't do anything. It's just some like weird. It looks like a prototype or something. But enough of my nerding out about the stupid console that I bought.
and what is Ancient Enemy, folks? Or can you
Oh,
talk about it?
I'm reviewing it. Yeah, it's been out for a few weeks now. It's a solitaire game. I mean, I think I mentioned I beta tested it like a month ago or something, or at least a few weeks ago. I mean, it's out now. So yeah, it's solitaire. It's one, it's made by the same guy who did Regency Solitaire. The problem is like the solitaire part of the game is still fine. Like my problem with the game really is like the lack of story. Like I think I like Regency Solitaire because it was like a very whimsical tale or a take on like a solitaire game. Like it's like a Jane Eyre mixed with solitaire. And that was interesting. And they made a sequel called Shadowlands, which is like a weird prequel, I think. But it went like really self-serious and like had like not a ton of character or interactions. And this game has even less of that. Like it's just you're playing as one dude, like constantly moving along this path. And I'm like, no, I want like story and characters. Like I want this to matter. I just don't want this dude narrating to me constantly about how miserable he is or how fucked up the world is. Like I don't care.
Right.
Also, I find it like, because I played this guy's games before and like other solitaire games, I find it like kind of easy, which is kind of funny.
That's always.
But I mean, I still like it, but he like went in one direction, and it's like, no, you should have been going in the opposite direction. Like, I want more story and more, I want like the Dream, what's that Dream Daddy game? Or I think that's what it's called. Like, I want like that version of a solitaire game where you have like a bunch of like really wacky characters and like, situations like that. Like this dude just moaning about how his life is terrible and how the landscape is filled with monsters. It's like, okay, I should care why? Like, I've not met anyone or anything else, so I assume everything in this world is dead except for this guy, so who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, I also got Audio Shield on the Oculus Quest, and that's fun.
Oh, that on Oculus Quest is fun.
And a PSVR, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, but Oculus Quest or Audio Shield is like that. It's like Beat Saber. You can use your own music, so that's why it's automatically better. Like it's not as frenetic or intensive, but I don't like Beat Saber's music at all. So
No.
I like my music, which is good, not Beat Saber's, which is terrible. And I know
it's
you
not
like
all
technically.
Bad. There's some of it that's not.
Well, I know you like technically can like use some of your own music in Beat Saber, but you have to like make it yourself or like I'm like it's like making songs for Guitar Hero or Rock Band. It's like no, I don't. No. So I mean, Auto Shield isn't quite as fast paced or visually impressive, but I like my music, so that's why it's better.
Well,
but yep, that's about it for me.
I'm also reviewing Streets of Rage 4, which I'll talk about on the next show, so the embargo will be up by then. You can imagine Streets of Rage. So,
Yeah,
but
I have a friend who's really excited for that game, and I'm just like, why? Like,
I mean, it's fun. It's enjoyable.
I assume it's of a decent quality, but it's just like it's a brawler. Like, they don't make brawlers anymore for a reason, because most brawlers are operating on the arcade model, and it's like, yeah, but you don't do that with video games anymore. You don't have to keep pumping 50 cents in to get more health. So, although that would be a really great deal, it would be a really great mode. Have it be like an actual arcade mode. You have to pay 50 cents, and then you have to keep paying money to like get more health.
No, I always think about playing Gauntlet in the arcade and like this thing yelling at you about need more food now.
I went to this like all day arcade like I think a year or two ago where you just pay like money to get in and everything's in free play. And I played through the entire Simpsons arcade machine by myself. And at a certain point I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is so pointless. Like,
yeah.
I popped in like 50 credits and I'm like, wow, that would have cost me like $20 to play this original, back in the day, and then who cares?
Oh, I still remember doing that when I was a kid, like going to CC's. I just loved playing, or going to Chuck E. Cheese and playing that game in X-Men at the arcades. And then, now, like, I remember when it released for Xbox, or...
Yeah,
it was like, yep, I can just play this infinitely.
Yeah, it was like Simpsons, X-Men, Turtles, and then you realize how really shallow those games really are, and it's like, wow, some of my childhood memories have been shattered.
Yep. Not as fun when you don't have the chaos of...
other people as well. Like, that was another issue. I'm just playing this by myself. This is not that much fun now.
Nope. And especially not fun when you die. It doesn't feel like there's a cost to it either.
Yeah.
But, well, we had actually talked about the cancellation of WWE 2K.
It's still funny.
21.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
And it has officially been canceled. Basically, 2K knows that they really screwed up on the 2K20 version, and they need to let it sit and
get better.
Get better. Exactly. So I think it's good that they realize that, and good that they're going to make those changes. But I just really hope that it actually winds up as a good thing for that 2K21 release, and not, we took that year off and then it doesn't really help.
My question really is, if this virus thing wasn't happening, would they still do that? Or would they just crank it out again?
No, I think they would have. I think the whole point of what they're doing, they probably heard it from people for a while that maybe WWE's games aren't...
You mean since 2K15 came out? 5 years ago? Their first 2K game, they were like, wait, this is bad, and you just keep making it worse.
Well, remember, like, they had to take over for Ukes, and, like, partway through development when Ukes decided, 2K found out they were making another, like, their own kind of side, wrestling game to try to make that game better, but they didn't like the fact that they were kind of making their own game on the side there, so they gave them the boot, and then, 2K kind of found itself, we're all alone doing this.
Yeah.
And that's not...
they introduced their new game today, which was WWE Battlegrounds.
That I was getting to, but
yeah. I mean, it looks like a chibi, or like cartoony, it looks like that NBA Battlegrounds, is that what?
Yeah, NBA Playgrounds, yeah.
Playgrounds, sorry.
I think that's what they're going for, basically, is the NBA... And it's made with Saber Interactive as well, who's the one that made those games.
So, yeah, like, I watched the trailer, and I mean, they fed John Cena to a crocodile, and that's funny, I guess. But, like, the gameplay looks like a mix between, like, you said it looks like All-Stars. The one good wrestling game in the past decade. And I think it was like our old, like, WrestleMania Midway arcade game.
Mm-hmm, that's
it was like, Yokozuna and Dunk the Clown and all that crap. I think the problem is the game still looks bad. Like, it's still running on that old...
I mean, they're just starting on it. It's not like they've been in development for a while or anything on it. I mean... they literally said that they announced it, and it's probably been in development for a few months, and you gotta remember this is during this pandemic. I mean, they wanted to just put something out there. I mean, already, the first thing I noticed was that cover image. It's like, wait a minute, why is The Rock the one with fire when he's the most electrifying man and all of sports entertainment? That doesn't make sense either. But,
isn't like Stone Cold the one with like electricity?
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make sense. It should be the opposite.
The Rock should be powered by electricity, and Steve Austin should be powered by alcohol.
If they really wanted to go that route, they could. They really should have thought about that.
I mean, it'd be nice if this was a more focused, like, only have like 20 or 30 wrestlers. You don't need to have, the 200 wrestlers you've had before. Like, it makes those games incredibly bloated and pointless, I think.
I mean, those Legends of Wrestling games were good when they had, like, I think those like 50 is a nice number.
Yeah, but I was going to say, those are still pretty limited, though. You don't have to have, 4 versions of Triple H for The Rock.
No, I agree. Like, especially if you're going to have the mixture of old guys and new guys, right? Like the legends and the current roster. And you know that you're not going to, and you're also going to be skimping out on the lower tier talent, which you wouldn't do in the simulation because it's more of a simulation. I think you can pick the 50 best, and there you go. And then you just release DLC, which that's what they did for All Stars.
Yeah, but the All Stars DLC was like 6 wrestlers, or like 12, I think, or something. Very small number.
That's not bad. I mean, it's not like they release. A lot of times, what they do is wind up releasing different versions of different guys for the DLC too. So
yeah,
I don't
know. I mean, I just have a lot of. I mean, I know you liked them, but those Playground games weren't great.
The first one was fine. It just had the technical problem.
I was gonna say, didn't you have like a lot of problems with it? Like you couldn't score, or it got like really hard or something.
No, it got to the point where you couldn't shoot threes when you could at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh wow, this is completely turned off, and then they don't let you score at all. But I feel like they might, I don't know, it's just like if you can do something in the like NBA Street vein or whatever, and it's okay, then fine. I mean, I don't think people are going to compare it to All Stars, and I don't think it needs to be better than that, but if this is your first try at it.
I mean, I can emphatically say it's not going to be better than All Stars.
No, I mean, but that's also THQ had so many years of making those games by then.
Yeah, but it wasn't, but it was a completely separate studio. Like, that was their first, like, they made the TNA game, and that was about it. And even that
I think also what they did was they just aped the No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000 style more than the simulation games did.
You mean the style that everyone still cares about? Or that still...
I mean, but that's what made that game good, is like the only other game that I think has done it like that is A Day of Reckoning, which is why those games are so revered on GameCube as well, is they took that and, Def Jam, the Def Jam Vendetta, Def Jam Fight for New York.
Aki, yeah.
Yeah. And said, okay, let's do it that way. And, I don't know, maybe something will wait with this time, Visual Concepts and whoever else is dealing with that over there will take the time to be like, okay, how do we want to do this and make this ours? And I think that's also something that helps, is like, you've been in the shadow of Ukes, you've been in the shadow of THQ, now you finally get that year to be like, okay, how do we make this as successful as we've made the NBA game and what we want to do with the NFL game. So, let's see what they do. I'm hoping it's good.
I mean, it'd be nice, but I mean, that license has been so beaten down, even like more than like any other franchise or any other sport license.
Yeah, it's true. Not wrong there. Also, just to get this out of the way, because Mark, we had talked about it before, and Mark was right. He said,
well, the last thing I'll say is I'm still disappointed it's not Crush Hour 2.
It was not going to be. You knew it. But, you can dream, I guess.
I have more faith in Crush Hour 2 being made than a Solo 2 ever being filmed. Let's say that.
And just quickly, because Mark, we had mentioned on a previous show, and Mark was right. He said it's most likely Crytek was making a Crysis Remastered, and that's what it was announced. Was PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo, even Nintendo Switch, is getting the remaster of the first Crysis game. And it's also being co-developed by Saber Interactive, so Saber Interactive they're gonna be working. And yeah, I mean, and then, who knows, I guess is THQ Nordic getting a cut out of all this stuff here? So, yeah, I think, that's nice. I mean, that's cool for people that like the first Crysis game. It's gonna have all this high quality stuff in it. So.
That'd be great to see, this console can't even run Crysis correctly and stuff like that nowadays.
Yeah, the Switch, you mean?
Yeah, well, kind of.
That's probably gonna be the joke from everyone. And
I never played Crysis, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I played like Crysis 2 on the PC. I like that one. I know a lot of people don't, but I mean, I know Crysis 1 is like this huge kind of open environment. You can kind of just do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But Crysis 2 is a lot more linear and like arena focused, or you have like in like these like little small levels or areas to fight in. I guess I just like that more.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's good that Crysis is getting that remaster treatment. So now.
I mean, Crytek can use the money, believe me.
Right. Yeah, definitely. On that, and also very quickly, because it comes out today, the first DBZ Kakarot DLC, since Mark reviewed the game and everything.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Super is going to show up in Kakarot. So, you gonna play it?
Nope, because I don't have the season pass. I don't want to buy it, and I'm done with that game.
It's going to be level 250. So, you ready to?
Well, I said that the max level that you can get up to in your game, in like the your characters.
Did you even get to that close to that?
Well, I did.
Oh, you did. Oh, well, okay.
I played it on PC.
Legitimately, though.
No, I mean,
no.
Well, the leveling curve in that game is super weird because it's like if you just randomly battle, you can gain like one level or two, but you get like so little experience just like fighting random enemies. But then if you do the story, it's like, oh, Goku got 1.5 million experience points because he trained under King Kai for 6 months. So he jumped from level 18 to 32 or something. And it's like, this is weird. Like, why even have the system at all? Like, really?
They do it because, I guess he would have technically done that, right? If you were measuring things in the level.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to play more of that game, more power to you, but nope. I mean, I didn't even finish the game, so I should tell you my apathy towards it.
I mean, it's still, the third or fourth best-selling game of the year.
Yeah.
But, hey, people are enjoying it. It's definitely, there was a lot of people that had your sentiment, though, that were not big on it, or people that were kind of like,
I mean, it's perfectly serviceable fan service, but they just don't do anything new or exciting, and you only have one melee attack button, and you do the same damn combo over and over. So it's like, oh man.
Well, the big story happening basically in the few days since we tried to do the last show was Last of Us 2 got their story leaked, and the menus leaked, and a lot of other things leaked. And Naughty Dog, of course, is now doing the same thing that Square had to do with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Atlas did with Persona, and Capcom didn't seem to do with Resident Evil 3, but it was, out there, people trying to avoid now having to tell people, hey, the spoilers are out there, but the game's not coming for another month and a half. It now actually has a release date of June 19th. So a little bit of a delay, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks? 3 weeks?
Yeah. Yep.
From the original May 29th release date to now June 19th. And Ghost of Tsushima got actually pushed back to July 17th so that you could get some breathing room there. Because imagine having to spend $120 in 2 weeks there for both of those games.
Yeah. Basically, it's like the last two best shot, or like the last two big PS4 games.
Well, also, it'd be basically like Last of Us getting the same thing that happened with Horizon with Zelda coming out the week after that. It's like, people won't get a lot of time to figure out how much they enjoyed Last of Us 2, and then Ghost comes out. So it's good. Yeah, but you're right. That's the last two big Sony games we've kind of been waiting for, and by then we should know much more about the PS5 games come out. What you think, anyway? But
right,
certainly. So have you? We're not going to talk about them, obviously, but have you seen any of the?
Yeah, I read the spoilers and I watched the videos also.
Wow,
It's pretty funny. I know Jens will like grind his teeth about hearing this. I really don't care about spoilers. Like, if anything, it makes me more interested to see a show or watch a movie or play a game. But he was like completely anti against spoilers. He can't fathom why I like it. And I'm like, I like to see the journey. I don't really care about like the end point. Like, I mean, I already know how Final Fantasy VII Remake ends. Like, I read the Wikipedia. Yeah. Who cares? But I'm still playing the game. So, I mean, just because I read it doesn't mean, like, my experience playing the game is still going to be different than yours or Randy's or Jens's or anyone else's. Like, I still want to enjoy it.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit different to, like, know the ending as opposed to, I don't think I would have been as hyped or impacted or whatever had I known every big, like, how every big scene plays out and how it looks and everything before I played the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to know the ending that maybe by the time you get to it, you'll kind of have forgotten a little bit about how it happens, or just still seeing how it happened makes a difference. But like seeing every part of it, I think is a little bit. That's well, also, where I kind of
The video, there's like 6 or 7 video clips. Only like 3 of them have actual dialogue or have voice acting. And like one of them's in a different language. I think it's like Spanish or something like that.
It definitely had to be like a disgruntled employee or something.
Well, not unless like the PS4 or the internet or their network got hacked or something. But yeah, I assume some employee or like when I gather, it's not fun working at Naughty Dog per se. Like that studio has had some problems in the past.
Well, it's like the same thing, Rockstar is going through right now with the like too much crunch issues.
Maybe it was Leslie Benzies working at Naughty Dog for a day. He stole the code and ran out.
Had the issues between The Last of Us, Staley and I forgot the other guy's name, Druckmann.
Yeah.
And Amy Hennig, where they had creative differences on where their big stories need to go moving forward, and that's why she left supposedly. So yeah, I don't care about spoilers so much, like actually like knowing the plot points. I just don't want to see, and I don't mind seeing trailers. I just don't want to see everything before I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
Well,
even the videos
right? But no, I didn't see anything.
Well, the videos didn't show any. They showed like one important spoiler, I guess, but they didn't show anything else. Like it was like Ellie and some girl riding a horse, and it's like, wow, how spoilerific.
Well, it's probably the girl, right?
No, it didn't sound like Ellie. Or it didn't sound like whatever her name is. I forget the actress's name.
The girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, still, I think if you're hyped for this game, stay away from your spoilers. I know Randy he was like, well, I'm gonna try to avoid this.
He's gonna be offline for the next 3 months or 2 months before the game comes out.
So get ready for that. Hopefully we don't have people exploiting this even more and finding more things by the time that game comes out and making it worse for people. But don't have to wait. At least we know it's coming not too far off. And then Ghost will be coming right after it. And then, of course, the other big Sony franchise is going to be getting even bigger. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is supposed to be gigantic in scope when it hits the PS5. A much larger game world, more freedom to explore, and it's going to even include a co-op feature in the main source. So maybe you and Jens will.
I mean, we talked about this a little. Erased the Lost one, but like the co-op will be probably fun because you can have like one person be like the attacker and the other person be like the trapper or something like that, or like the stealthy person. Have one character be bait, stuff like that. My problem is like I already thought Horizon Zero Dawn was like kind of approaching on too big. Like it's not quite like a Days Gone or like the last few Assassin's Creed games. but it's getting up there. So them saying like, oh, it's gonna be even more massive. It's like, please no, like it could be smaller.
Wasn't some of that complaining of like after Breath of the Wild came out, like Horizon didn't feel as explorable, or didn't feel as, I guess.
Horizon
like that
definitely
game
has
does.
Horizon has like zones, like kind of like leveling zones. Like, a level 1 Aloy shouldn't be entering like a level 20 zone because you'll just get ripped apart instantly, pretty much.
Right.
I think Zelda has it does have a leveling system kind of, but it's not like set in stone. Like if you really want to and you're skilled enough, you can just kind of hack into Ganon's castle or just kind of glitch your way in and face him, like no problem. So I think that's like Zelda has that with like gear and stuff, but if you really are good, you can still get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that complaint, I guess. Also, I think like Horizon also had like very like story gated progression systems, or like you can't get to the mountains because you haven't done part of the story yet. Or you have to like really go through the fucking long prologue before you can even get to the main game world. I was like, oh man, this is taking forever.
Yeah, that's what felt like took forever, was for me, and I think that's about where I stopped, was like, other stuff came out and I had to start reviewing games on the Switch, so I couldn't go back to it, but I was like, wow, this is taking forever to get to the point. And I mean, it's cool to see her like go from being a little kid to being Aloy and everything, but it's just like, wow, this felt like it took 20 hours.
Yeah. You didn't even get out of the main game world then. Like that map was already big. So I didn't get to see it all. So like I don't understand these people who are like, I want to spend 200 hours in this game. It's like, you just have no life? Like
I don't know, I guess people just want to have that option if they want to do it. Like they want to feel like I can spend. Like it's like okay, the Animal Crossing thing right now of I can say that I spent 125 hours in Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing is like, that whole game is predicated on like user created content, or like, you decorating your island and house, which is fine. But you spend 50 hours on Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, what if they said, hey, spend another 150 hours before you can actually beat the game? You'd be like, nope.
Yeah, nope. I mean, that's how much the whole game is probably going to be. I bet if we went through all the parts, it probably wants to be 200 hours.
Well, it's funny because like that, I'm earlier than you, obviously, but that game already feels very linear to me. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of like the same, like the old one, really. Like you can't really go back to the old areas unless it's like part of the story. So imagine if they said, hey, you can explore every slum and every sector of Midgar, but you're still going to be doing the same type of stuff over and over. It's like, I'm all right.
I'm good. No.
So,
because by the time you get to that stuff with Aerith, I was kind of like, oh, this feels like it's taking even longer than it did with Tifa, and I'm kind of ready to get going,
Yeah.
So.
Like I did all like the Aerith side quests, in that little slum, and I'm like, well, this is more kind of waste, pointless crap, but all right.
Yeah.
Like, instead of finding cats, you're finding kids, which are way more annoying.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to be doing. But yeah, I think it's cool that they're adding the co-op feature in. I don't mind that it's getting bigger. I wonder if what they mean is like you won't have so much of that gated progression, and that's what they're getting at, as opposed to they did need to tell that story of Aloy growing and everything else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you'll probably be playing as her, but like, who's the co-op companion then? Or are you just going to be like, computer co-op, for the regular game?
I don't think they're going to have a created character. I'm pretty sure it's going to be another character. Maybe a mysterious family member she didn't know she had, or, whatever.
I want it to be Lance Reddick from the first game, because he's always cool.
Yeah, it's amazing to see Guerrilla go from being a Killzone to now you're making these open world, third-person action games.
Yeah. It's called the Step Up.
They might even make it into a trilogy, so if Part 2 is going to be huge, imagine you get to Part 3.
That always works well. Look at Mass Effect or Dead Space.
Well, it worked out I'm guessing they're going more of hopefully it becomes like another Uncharted where they can keep
Yeah, but even in, like, that trilogy, I think people mostly say Uncharted 2 is the best one.
Well, and then Uncharted 4, I think a lot of people.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's of the trilogy. I mean, that's what I mean.
Right. Oh, no, definitely. Definitely. Uncharted 2 kind of capped, unless you thought the Randy, you're a fan of Uncharted 3.
Yeah. Well, he's often wrong, so there we go.
So, Gamescom is going to be all digital thanks to the COVID-19 concerns, and now also, so that will be the one time this year where we have a big event where perhaps all three of the major Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo will appear along with the other publishers. And with whatever those June digital events wind up being, because so far, we had Bethesda cancel and haven't heard any more about Ubisoft. It looks like Microsoft might even have theirs earlier than that. It might be sometime in May, because they already revealed the logo for the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And then, which, I mean, no big deal. It's a logo, whatever. But, so Bit Summit, the Japanese, indie kind of convention, is also going to be all digital, and that's going to be now June 27th to 28th. So that'll have Japanese indie games can shine, and then, Gamescom will also have its time to shine for everyone. You'll get to see a lot more things, I think, online, and more gameplay for things than you might have seen if it was just on the show floor and everything. So that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I kind of cut out some of the new stuff because some of it was rather old by the time we're getting to this week. But there is, before we get into our topic, and then I guess the thing wanted to talk about, it does feel like we're having a little bit of a mini release week that feels a bit more normal this week with all the things that have been kind of getting cut and delayed and all that. Yeah, this Tuesday, April 28th, you have quite a few games here. Moving Out is coming out. That's the sort of like moving version of Overcooked. It's being made by the Team 17. Team 17 is publishing sort of that studio there. A SnowRunner, which I know Mark is excited about, like an off-road.
It was like spin tires, yeah. It's a very simulation off-road game where you have to manage, wheel spin and your speed and all that crap.
Telling Lies comes to consoles. Sakura Wars, which is like the soft reboot of the entire franchise that a lot of the games have not been able to come over here. And Daymare, the sort of like Resident Evil 2 inspired game also comes out today. So, and Gears Tactics, which is probably perhaps the biggest release of the entire day, also comes to Game Pass, and they would be purchased on PC. So buy it. Yeah, I mean, and then you got Streets of Rage on Thursday. A nice little week.
Yep,
here. Sure. I know you're kind of excited for SnowRunner. Are you excited for anything else?
Spin tires and that Gears Tactics thing. I think it's really weird that XCOM and Gears Tactics got released the same week, or within
right?
days of each other.
So you have Chimera Squad, but you haven't started playing it.
No, I have to clear out some hard drive space first. I mean, I know it's decent. Like, it didn't get great reviews, but it's more of the same. Like, I think my problem is I just don't like those type of smaller expansion games. Like, I didn't like it in Far Cry, and they did Blood Dragon. And I think Far Cry also did it again, some other game. But the smaller expansion
Primal,
games
right? Was smaller.
I mean, that was a full game though, also, or that was it wasn't a reduction in game mechanics. It was slightly more of an expansion, I would actually say, because you can ride animals, so that's fun. But yeah, it's just Blood Dragon is the one I always think of.
Yeah, and then you had Old Blood was good, but Young Blood was not.
Right, Wolfenstein. That's another good example. What else? Yeah, I'm just having a brain freeze, but yeah, I think Prey had DLC. That was kind of a separate game. I mean, you still needed the base game, but
that was actually a lot of people liked that apparently.
Yeah, but my problem was it came out way too late, so I didn't remember how to play Prey anymore. And I was
Dishonored also had the Outsiders thing.
Yeah.
As well. Alan Wake had the
American Nightmare.
DLC
yeah.
expansion.
I mean, I like that one. That's because American Nightmare,
that one a lot
Alan
more
Wake. I mean, BioShock had the two episodes. Yeah, I mean, this has happened before. You know, I think XCOM feels weirder because they just announced it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
like, hey, we got another XCOM. Like, it's coming next week. It's like what?
Okay, thank you.
It's like people aren't, especially after XCOM 2, people aren't that excited for XCOM anymore.
Well, I mean, with Gears also kind of basically XCOM, but with Gears.
I mean, yeah, it's doing something new and interesting. It's not like, hey, instead of caring about the world, they're caring about this one stupid city. It's like, what? Like, this feels like so much smaller in scope because it literally is.
True. So yeah, definitely quite a few things to pick through for you out there, people that that gun crazy game, decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get to May where it feels like everything kind of got knocked out of there almost.
Right.
So yeah, right now I think the biggest games are Wonderful 101 Remastered, that Episode 1 Racer game. They had to delay they couldn't give a release date for a while because they had to really completely redo that, the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, Minecraft Dungeons kind of at there, and the Shantae game. But, Xenoblade, way at the end of so.
Yeah.
I won't kind of have, unless I don't know that I will. I thought about getting Sakura Wars, and I was like, I'm gonna wait, I think, on it.
Yeah.
So.
I have no cachet with those games, so.
Yeah, so I think I'm good on, like, anything big until Shantae and Xenoblade at the end of May.
Oh, everyone cares about Shantae.
Hey, those are damn good platforms.
Yeah. I played one of them, so, yeah.
I'm gonna let, Mark is gonna carry the load on this one, because I'm not big on, for one, I didn't play most of these consoles he's going to talk about. Secondly, I'm not big on kind of pointing out
negativity,
the negatives on things.
Yeah. So I guess the topic is like consoles that are overrated by people, like at large. Like I think there are specific examples. Like nowadays, people like deify the Sega Saturn, and it's like that thing was a gnarly ass mess when it came out, and.
Well, not to mention before the Xbox One could screw up their launch, Sega screwed up their launch of Saturn.
Yeah, it's out now, and it's like what? Who are like? It was like E3. People were like, what? Like, what are you doing?
KB Toys was like, what the fuck? Yeah, people are running into our store wanting this thing.
I think KB was like, we're not going to carry it then. Like, forget you guys. Like, they didn't carry it for a while at least. Like the Sega Saturn had some decent games, but it didn't handle 3D well at all. People were already moving away from 2D stuff. So it was like a console that was like the worst of both worlds, essentially. People nowadays, they're trying to like hack in emulator support or like the SD card.
They were trying to compete with PlayStation.
Yeah, but failing in every account. Like, I mean, even like 2D games, like Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the Saturn is a mess. Like, from a technical standpoint, like it doesn't run as well, and then like the controller is like gnarly with that game. Like I've tried to play it on the emulator, and it's like you have to like press down B to turn into a mist, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like, why did you do this? I think another console that is like really weirdly overrated is the TurboGrafx 16. I had one of those. It had like 10 to 15 good games. You might add like 5 more if you have the TurboGrafx add-on, the CD add-on. But that was about it.
Doesn't one of your favorite people, Jeff Gertzman, a ton of games?
Well, he owns this weirdly rare game called Magical Chase that costs you had to get it through a mail order catalog, which is how you get all good games back then.
Yeah.
So there's like 28 copies of this game out in the world, and his copy is like completely new, still sealed in a box. It's worth like $10,000 at least.
Wow.
Yeah, the TurboGrafx had some good games, but unless you're like a big shooter fan, and I'm not, then you don't really care about the system. Like, Bonk is always going to be cool, and so is Military Madness, but that's kind of about it. I mean, there's like one or two Castlevania games in that thing, but I mean, those weren't exactly big system sellers back then, or weren't popular. Like, it's cool. It's cool now. It's like for completists now, they're like, oh, we want to play every Castlevania game. It's like, even Rondo of Blood. It's like, yeah, give us on the TurboGrafx 16. It's a good luck.
That never got ported to anything?
No. Well, it got, like, ported eventually. I think it's, like, in the Castlevania collection now. But, I mean, that came out, like, just 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that doesn't count. What else? I think the Dreamcast is a tad overrated. Like, I liked it. Yeah. But that controller was garbage because it only had one analog stick. So most games can't get ported well or have like really...
Most things, other than PlayStation, like it took a while for...
I think like you can translate Mario 64 fairly well onto like a Xbox 360 gamepad for like emulation. Try doing that with like Jet Grind Radio or Jet Set Radio where you have like a button solely dedicated to like recentering the camera behind your character because it has no camera control.
Well, that's how a lot of the C4 stuff was, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's the one system that people kind of universally agree didn't have that many great.
Well, yeah, I mean, people. The problem with the N64, that'd be probably my last big one, is like it has the people who grew up on it, who would have been you and me, really.
Yeah.
You know, now they're going out and trying to recapture their lost youth, or recapture that magic. I mean, the N64 did a ton of great shit back in the day. It was like the first console. That was like a really good party machine.
Yeah. Oh, Mario Party was amazing on that.
No. I mean, like, actual good games, like GoldenEye and Star Fox, not Mario Party.
Well, Mario Kart.
And that's the third one, yeah. Like, yeah. But, I mean, he had 4 controller ports, and it was perfect for, like, college dorm rooms back in the day.
And as the 4 controllers got uber expensive, where you could actually afford to get a second one.
Yeah. The controllers back then were cheap as hell. They were like 20 or 30 bucks. Now it's like, a PS4 controller is like 60 or...
Well, and third parties weren't going to ruin your system.
Right.
Third party controllers didn't, like, break in 2 seconds.
Yeah. And the only other one I might say that's a little overrated is, like, the Wii. Like, I think, like, motion controls were impressive at the time. Oh, no, it
definitely is. Because, like, once you got past the games that were, like...
Nintendo
really
made?
Or like, to play... Like the ones that were like, okay, the Wii Sports and all those, like, I don't want to, I never, ever, ever, ever want to go back and play, I mean, as much as I like, love Galaxy, I don't want to go back and play anything on that system because I don't want to play with the motion controls. I don't want to have to stand, like, I never want to play Skyward Sword again.
Yeah.
The motion controls ruined that game, not to mention it takes forever to get anywhere.
I'll probably never play that game until they reshoot it on the Switch with like fixed controls or actual controls because I don't like motion controls first of all, and just in theory I just don't like them that much. But in practice, like it's most of the time it's finicky and it barely works half the time. So like, forget this.
Well, yeah,
and
and just having to play with anything where eventually you have to use the motion for something, or you have to stand there and press your A button or what. It just never felt right.
Yeah. So, that's my treatise on the subject. I mean, there are fans of each console, except for maybe like there should be no fans of the Sega CD or Sega 32X, especially those things.
You'll find some.
I had both those things, and it's like, no, these things are indefensible.
Well, I would also say that, like, my gaming really started with the Super Nintendo. Like, my brother had a Nintendo, but I remember watching him play Mario Brothers on it, and that's kind of the only thing and like, I think one of my cousins had a Nintendo and they had a Genesis when I would go to Venezuela, and I could play Sonic and play, like, some of the other Nintendo, like Ice Climber, things like that.
I didn't have a NES either. I had, like, a friend at the time who had one, and I'd sit over at his house and play Mario all the time. I started with a Super Nintendo also, and then I also had a Genesis, and I actually had a Genesis, Sega CD, and 32X.
Wow.
So yeah, the Genesis was like huge. And then I graduated to like the PS1, then N64, then PS Dreamcast, PS2, all that crap. But, so I mean, I haven't played like an old Atari 2600, because I got one once, and I couldn't figure out how to hook it up to a TV. It came with like this black cable, that was it. I'm like, what do I do with this? Like, I think it was like missing there's like the antenna box or something like weird like that. So I'm like, this is more than I want to screw around with. So I'm going to sell you to someone else.
Mine went from Super Nintendo. I had all the Game Boys. That's one. Except for the old one. I had Pocket Color, GBA, the SP, the DS, the 3DS. I had all those. Because I loved having my portable gaming machine. But my dad got me a PS1 and he got me a Launch 64. I got a Launch GameCube.
I have 3 good stories. I went through like 4 or 5 Game Boys as a kid because it'd like break or I would lose them or something like that. I had at least 2 Game Gears, which was always fun.
Those
that
shoot through batteries.
That thing lasts like an hour and a half, if that. So I had a launch Dreamcast. Me and my friend actually both got like our Dreamcast like the launch day, and like none of the games worked correctly. Like I think I got Hydro Thunder, and like you couldn't save the game or you couldn't load it because if you did, it would like just crash and like it was like some midway problem. I think like Ready to Rumble Boxing had an audio issue, but the fun one was Sonic Adventure because like it just wouldn't boot. So me and my friend went through like 7 or 8 copies.
Oh, okay. I must have got mine like months.
Yeah, it was like the very first launch day because it was with my friend and his mom, and we had to keep driving back to Toys R Us. We went for like 7 or 8 copies of Sonic Adventure because none of them worked. And he finally found one that worked, and I think he took it home.
I love Hydro Thunder.
So I think I got a used PS2 from my dad. I got Vice City, GTA Vice City.
Yeah.
I didn't get a memory card.
Uh-oh.
He neglected to purchase that for me. So like for the first week, I did like whenever I shut it off, I would lose my progress. So once I actually got the memory card, I'd flip to those first opening intro missions because like I did this 4 or 5 times already, so I know what the hell to do, really easily. I think my last handheld console was the GBA SP.
Yeah.
I bought a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I had like the Sonic game and I think like one other game, and then I was like, this is real dumb because there's no games ever will come to this thing. So I think I eventually took it back and got like a CD burner, which was way more useful back in the day.
Oh, definitely, yeah, back in the day.
But my mom was like afraid. Oh, God.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like my mom was like weirdly afraid of like the NES. Like she didn't want to hook shit up to the TV. So once I got with my dad, he like the first month he bought me my Super Nintendo. I'm like, all right, cool.
Nice. Yeah, my thing was like growing up, the Xbox. I think that was we had summer parties all the time, and we'd stay up playing Halo, and we all had brought our own TV, and we'd have the LAN parties and everything. So I was an Xbox guy for a long time.
Yeah, I would actually say the Xbox is like the opposite end. Like that, I don't think that console gets enough credit.
Oh yeah,
there are some good.
Halo 2 was the start of console online, the way we know it with Xbox Live and everything.
But the Xbox, I mean, it had a lot of good games for it. I mean, there were a lot of clunkers also, but I mean, there are still Xbox games I'd play right now if I could.
Well, you don't like Jet Empire.
I meant like good Xbox games, not crappy ones.
Stop it with that. Jet Empire is good.
Like, the Buffy games were decent, or that first one was good, or like Death Row, or Chronicles of Riddick was a great game. I
loved that Stubbs Zombie game. That was good too.
Yeah, I think that's on modern consoles now, where they put out like an HD version or something.
Yeah, they did.
But it might be on like Rare Replay or something. But, yep. That is my discussion on the subject.
Well, yeah. So, what are your most overrated consoles? You can let us know at w2network@gmail.com, or you can hit us all up at Humanity Plague, at W2M Sean on Twitter, at W2M Network on the whole network. And of course, you can subscribe to this podcast, and anytime we release a show, it is there for you to download and listen to whenever you feel like it. And of course, just, go rate us on that 5 stars wherever it is that you listen. It'd be very helpful. Get us up there in the rankings. More people can listen to us there. And of course, go like that W2 Network Facebook page. And, yeah, that, as always, have a go check out the W2Net.com because Marc will have a Animal Crossing review up there pretty soon. And I'll be having some reviews up there as well. And until the next time, we'll see you later, everybody.
Later.